Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we focus on practical, no-nonsense health information for adults over 60, the stuff your doctor wants to tell you but runs out of time for during a 15-minute appointment. Today we're tackling something that affects nearly half of all adults over the age of 60, nighttime waking. Not the occasional bathroom trip, though we'll talk about that too, but that pattern of broken sleep that leaves you dragging through your days, reaching for extra coffee, snapping at your spouse, and wondering if this is just what getting older feels like. Here's what most people don't realize. Poor sleep after 60 isn't just annoying. Research from the National Institute on Aging links chronic fragmented sleep to higher risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, depression, and even falls. That last one matters enormously. A senior who sleeps poorly is significantly more likely to lose balance during the day. One bad fall can change everything, so this isn't vanity. This isn't about looking refreshed. This is about protecting your brain, your bones, your independence. The good news? Your body hasn't forgotten how to sleep deeply. It just needs a little coaxing. Think of tonight's routine like tuning an old radio. The signal is still there, you just have to find it again. Let me walk you through 5 gentle exercises you can do in your bedroom, in your pajamas, in under 15 minutes. Each one targets a specific reason seniors wake up at night. I'll explain the why behind every movement, so you're not just following along blindly. You'll actually understand what's happening inside your body. Let's start with the one almost nobody talks about. Exercise number 1, the supported diaphragm reset. Here's a question for you. When was the last time you paid attention to the way you breathe while lying in bed? Most adults over 60 have gradually shifted into shallow chest breathing without ever noticing. Decades of sitting at desks, hunching over steering wheels, carrying stress in the shoulders, all of it trains the rib cage to tighten. By the time you're in your 60s and 70s, your diaphragm, that broad dome of muscle underneath your lungs, barely moves when you breathe. Why does that matter for sleep? Because shallow breathing keeps your nervous system stuck in what scientists call sympathetic dominance. That's the alert mode, the fight or flight channel. Your body reads those short, high breaths as a signal that something might be wrong. Cortisol trickles into your bloodstream. Your heart rate stays 3 or 4 beats per minute higher than it should. And when you do drift off, your brain hovers near the surface of sleep like a lifeguard scanning for trouble instead of diving down into those deep, restorative stages where tissue repair and memory consolidation actually happen. The supported diaphragm reset fixes this in about 3 minutes. Here's exactly how to do it. Lie on your back in bed with 2 pillows under your knees. This is important. The bent knee position takes pressure off your lower back and lets your belly relax completely. Place one hand flat on your chest and the other hand just below your navel, right on the soft part of your abdomen. Now breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. The goal is to make the hand on your belly rise while the hand on your chest stays almost perfectly still. Imagine you're inflating a small balloon behind your belly button. Feel your lower ribs spread sideways like an accordion opening. Then exhale through gently pursed lips, like you're cooling a spoonful of soup, for a count of 6. That longer exhale is the secret ingredient. It directly stimulates your vagus nerve, which is the main cable connecting your brain to your relaxation response. Every time you extend that exhale, you're essentially pressing a calm down button hardwired into your anatomy. Do this for 8 to 10 breath cycles. Most people notice their eyelids getting heavy around cycle 5 or 6. Your heart rate will drop. The muscles along your jaw will soften. You might not even realize you were clenching. A woman named Dorothy, 73, wrote to us and said she'd been waking up at 3 a.m. almost every single night for 2 years. Her doctor prescribed trazodone. It helped her fall asleep but left her dizzy in the mornings. She started doing just this one breathing exercise, and within 9 days, not 9 weeks, 9 days, her 3 a.m. wake-ups dropped from every night to about twice a week. She eventually stopped the medication entirely, with her doctor's blessing. 1 exercise. 3 minutes. That's all it took to start shifting the pattern. Exercise number 2, the bedtime wall drain. Now let's address something mechanical. If you spend most of your day sitting, in a car, at a kitchen table, in a recliner, watching television, fluid pools in your lower legs. Gravity just does its thing. By evening, your ankles might be a little puffy, your calves tight, your feet swollen enough that your shoes feel snug. When you finally lie flat at night, all that accumulated fluid redistributes. Some of it reaches your kidneys, which suddenly have extra volume to process. And what do kidneys do with extra fluid? They make urine. That's why you're getting up to use the bathroom at 1 a.m. and again at 4 a.m. It's not necessarily a prostate problem or a bladder issue, although those should always be checked. Often it's simply pooled fluid finally draining once you're horizontal. The bedtime wall drain gives gravity a head start before you even close your eyes. About 30 minutes before you plan to sleep, lie on your back on the bed or on the floor with a folded blanket beneath you. Scoot your hips as close to the wall as comfortable and extend your legs straight up, resting your heels and calves against the wall. If your hamstrings are tight, and most people's are, it's completely fine to keep a generous bend in your knees or move your hips a foot or so away from the wall. Comfort matters more than perfect form. Let your arms rest by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. Close your eyes. Stay here for 5 to 8 minutes. What's happening during those minutes is straightforward physics. Venous blood and lymphatic fluid that have been sitting in your lower extremities all day are now flowing back toward your core, assisted by gravity instead of fighting against it. Your kidneys begin processing that extra volume while you're still awake, which means you'll likely need to use the bathroom once right before bed, and then far less often during the night. But there's a bonus benefit many people don't expect. This position also decompresses the lumbar spine. If lower back stiffness is part of what wakes you up, that deep ache that builds around hour 3 of lying in one position, the wall drain helps preemptively release tension in the muscles along your spine. The psoas muscle, which connects your lower back to your thigh bones, finally gets to let go. You might feel a pleasant tingling in your feet as you come down from this position. That's normal. Swing your legs to one side and sit up slowly to avoid any dizziness. If you have severe varicose veins, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or a hiatal hernia, check with your doctor before trying this one. For most people, though, this is one of the safest and most effective pre-sleep positions that exists, and physical therapists have been prescribing it for decades. Exercise number 3, the slow-motion hip circle. If you're over 60 and you've ever woken up because you couldn't get comfortable, shifting from your back to your side, pulling a pillow between your knees, flipping to the other side, punching the pillow into a different shape, the problem probably isn't your mattress. The problem is your hips. The hip joints are the largest ball and socket joints in your body. They're designed for enormous range of motion. But when they stiffen, from arthritis, from prolonged sitting, from old injuries that never fully healed, your body loses the ability to settle into a neutral resting position. Every surface feels wrong because your pelvis is essentially locked, and the muscles around it are working overtime even when you're lying still. That low-level muscular effort registers in your nervous system as arousal. Wakefulness, restlessness. The slow-motion hip circle is borrowed from Tai Chi, modified for bedtime. Stand next to your bed, close enough to reach it for balance if you need to. Place your feet about hip-width apart, knees soft, not locked. Now imagine there's a dinner plate sitting flat on the ground directly beneath your pelvis. Begin tracing the outer edge of that imaginary plate with your hips. Slowly, much slower than you think. We're talking about a full circle taking 6 to 8 seconds. Let your pelvis shift forward, then to the right, then back, then to the left, and around again. Keep your upper body relatively still. This isn't a dance move. The motion comes from deep inside the hip socket itself. Do 5 circles in one direction, then reverse and do 5 in the other direction. You'll probably hear some crackling or popping. That's synovial fluid, the natural lubricant inside the joint capsule, redistributing into areas that haven't been accessed all day. Think of it as oiling a hinge. Those sounds are normal and usually painless. If anything causes sharp pain, reduce the size of the circle or stop entirely. After the circles, sit on the edge of your bed and do a simple seated figure 4 stretch. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, let the right knee fall open gently, and lean forward slightly from the hips until you feel a stretch deep in the right buttock. Hold for 30 seconds, switch sides. This combination, the circles followed by the figure 4, addresses both the joint itself and the piriformis muscle, a small but powerful muscle buried beneath the glute that's a notorious troublemaker for nighttime hip pain. Many seniors ignore hip stiffness because they assume it's just arthritis and nothing can be done. But mobility and pain are two different conversations. You may not be able to reverse cartilage loss, but you can absolutely restore enough range of motion to sleep comfortably. The joint doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be free enough to let you rest. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, this is exactly what I've been dealing with, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming videos. We've got a whole series planned on pain-free movement, brain health after 60, and nutrition tips specifically designed for older adults. If you're over 60, or if you're caring for an elderly parent or loved one, the information in this channel could genuinely make a difference in daily quality of life. Share this video with someone who hasn't slept well in months. You might be the reason they finally get a full night's rest. All right, let's keep going. We're on exercise 4. Exercise number 4, the progressive squeeze and melt. This one comes from clinical psychology, not from a gym. It's based on a technique developed in the 1930s by a physician named Edmund Jacobson, and modern sleep research has validated it over and over again. It's called progressive muscle relaxation, but I prefer calling it squeeze and melt because that's exactly what it feels like. Here's the principle. Your muscles hold tension the way a sponge holds water. You might not even notice it until someone points it out. Right now, as you're watching this, are your shoulders crept up toward your ears? Is your tongue pressed against the roof of your mouth? Are your toes curled slightly inside your socks? That residual tension sends a constant stream of stay alert signals to your brain. Your nervous system interprets tight muscles as preparation for action. The squeeze and melt technique interrupts that loop by deliberately creating tension and then abruptly releasing it, which teaches the muscle and the brain what genuine relaxation actually feels like. Lie in your sleeping position, whatever feels natural. Start with your feet. Curl your toes hard, like you're gripping sand at the beach. Squeeze for 5 full seconds, then release all at once. Don't ease out of it. Drop the tension like you're dropping a heavy bag. Feel the difference between the squeezing and the letting go. That contrast is the whole point. Move to your calves. Press your toes forward, away from your shins, tightening the calf muscles. 5 seconds. Release. Thighs. Press your knees together firmly. 5 seconds. Release. Buttocks. Clench like you're holding a coin between them. 5 seconds. Release. Abdomen. Tighten as though someone's about to playfully poke your belly. 5 seconds. Release. Fists. Squeeze both hands into tight balls. 5 seconds. Release. Let the fingers fall open like petals. Shoulders. Shrug them up toward your ears as high as they'll go. 5 seconds. Drop them. Face. Scrunch every muscle. Squint your eyes. Wrinkle your nose. Clench your jaw. Hold it for 5 seconds. Then let your entire face go slack. Mouth slightly open. Forehead smooth. Eyes soft behind closed lids. The whole sequence takes about 4 minutes. By the time you reach your face, your body feels noticeably heavier against the mattress. Some people describe it as sinking. Others say it feels like the bed is gently pulling them downward. What's happening physiologically is measurable. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure drops slightly. Cortisol production tapers. Your brain begins producing alpha waves, the electrical pattern associated with drowsy, pre-sleep calm. A retired electrician named Frank, 68, told us he'd tried everything. White noise machines, blackout curtains, cutting caffeine after noon, sleeping in separate rooms from his wife because her breathing bothered him. Nothing worked consistently until he started doing this squeeze and melt sequence every night. He said the strangest part was realizing how tense he'd been without knowing. I thought I was relaxed, he said. Turns out, I didn't even know what relaxed meant anymore. Exercise number 5, the gratitude body scan. The final exercise might surprise you because it doesn't look like exercise at all. There's no movement involved, But I've saved it for last because it addresses the number one sleep disruptor that no amount of stretching can fix on its own: the racing mind. You know the experience. Body feels tired, eyes are heavy. And then the thoughts arrive. Medical bills. A grandchild struggles at school. That conversation you wish you'd handled differently in 1998. Grief that surfaces at strange hours. Worry about things you can't control from a horizontal position at midnight. Cognitive arousal, the clinical term for a busy brain at bedtime, is the most common cause of prolonged nighttime waking in adults over 60. Your body falls asleep. Your mind refuses. The gratitude body scan combines two evidence-backed techniques: mindfulness body scanning and gratitude journaling. Together, they redirect your attention from abstract worries to concrete, present tense physical sensations paired with positive emotional associations. Here's how it works. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to your feet. Don't try to relax them. You already did that with the squeeze and melt. Instead, simply notice them. The warmth of the sheets against your soles, the weight of the blanket on your toes, and silently say to yourself, "Thank you, feet. You carried me through 60-something years. You walked me to my children's school plays. You stood in the kitchen making holiday meals." It sounds almost silly written out like that. Do it anyway. Move your attention up to your knees. Notice any ache, any warmth, any sensation at all without judging it. Thank you, knees. Even when you creak, you still get me out of the chair. Hips. You bore the weight of babies on each side. You danced at weddings. Belly, chest, hands, shoulders, neck, face. At each stop, acknowledge the sensation and offer one specific, genuine thank you. Not a generic, "thanks for working." Something real, something connected to your actual life. This practice does two powerful things simultaneously. First, it anchors your awareness in the physical body, pulling attention away from the thought spiral. Your brain can't fully narrate a worry story and fully attend to the feeling of cotton against skin at the same time. The bandwidth isn't there. Second, the gratitude element shifts your neurochemistry. Studies from the University of California, Berkeley, and Indiana University have shown that gratitude practices before bed increase sleep duration and sleep quality while reducing the time it takes to fall asleep. The mechanism appears to involve increased production of serotonin and decreased activity in the amygdala, which is the brain's threat detection center. Take 5 to 7 minutes with this scan. Don't rush. If thoughts intrude, and they will, treat them like a cat walking across your desk. Acknowledge them, gently move them aside, and return to whatever body part you were visiting. Many people fall asleep before they reach their face. That's not a failure. That's the whole point. So let's recap your new 15-minute bedtime routine. 30 minutes before bed, do the wall drain against a wall or headboard. 5 to 8 minutes with your legs elevated, letting fluid drain from your lower legs so your kidneys process it before sleep, not during. After you come down from the wall, stand and do your slow-motion hip circles, 5 in each direction, followed by the seated figure 4 stretch on both sides, maybe 3 minutes total. Your hips release, your pelvis finds neutral. Climb into bed, settle onto your back with 2 pillows under your knees. Do the supported diaphragm reset, 8 to 10 breath cycles with that long, slow exhale. 3 minutes to shift your nervous system from alert mode to rest mode. Then the progressive squeeze and melt. Toes to face, tensing and releasing each muscle group. 4 minutes to drain physical tension you didn't even know you were carrying. Finally, the gratitude body scan. Eyes closed, moving your attention from feet to forehead, pausing at each landmark to notice sensation and offer one honest thank you. This is where most people drift off. Somewhere between their ribs and their collarbone, mid-sentence, mid-thought, the way sleep is supposed to find you. 15 minutes. No equipment, no supplements, no groggy mornings or worrying about drug interactions. Just your body, your breath, and a little bit of intentional kindness toward a frame that has carried you through every chapter of your life so far. I want to leave you with something important. Broken sleep after 60 is common, but that does not mean it is normal or that you have to accept it. Your body still knows how to sleep deeply. The architecture is still intact. Sometimes it just needs to be reminded, gently, consistently, without force. Try this routine tonight, not next week, tonight, and give it at least 7 consecutive nights before you decide whether it's working. Sleep patterns shift slowly, the way a river changes course, not overnight, but undeniably. Write down how you feel each morning. One word is enough. Heavy, foggy, better, surprised. You'll start to see the trend line bend, and once it bends, momentum builds. You deserve rest, not the brittle, half-awake kind where your body lies still but your brain keeps running the projector. The deep kind. The kind where morning light wakes you and your first thought isn't exhaustion, it's hunger, curiosity, readiness. If this video helped you, pass it along to someone who stares at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering if good sleep is something they've left behind for good. Tell them it isn't. Tell them to try 5 gentle exercises, 15 quiet minutes, and a little faith in a body that has never once stopped working on their behalf. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment below telling me which exercise you're going to try first, or if you have your own bedtime trick that works, share it. This community learns from each other, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourselves tonight. I'll see you in the next video.